Caught me slipping. Caught me slipping. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the Lifeboat. Hope everyone's having a good day. This is going to be fun because I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. And I do mean absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. So I thought I would maybe, we can open this up and do a little Q&A and screw around a little bit. But I got a bunch of emails concerning... there are people who have asked specific questions about things that my brother and I spoke about, or people that asked specific questions concerning things I haven't been caught for, which I think is really, really funny, because if I haven't got caught for it, why would I want to talk about it? In many cases, the statute of limitations tends to run out on these things. The statute of limitations on most things are 7 years. That is usually, if it's theft related, and that's usually what I did, was theft related. Quiet Girl got a new cat today. Good for you. Hold on, people. I need that fan. Sorry about that, people, but starting to get a little hot on the dome there. You know, I knew something was wrong. Hey, Christy, good to see you. So I'm going to tell you a story, because I've never told this one on the Lifeboat before, and that's pretty rare. But when I got the email, I started thinking to myself, what is the, is there anything? Because like I said, I'm that guy, and very often that means that I get caught, So is there anything that that I did that I didn't get caught for, and that sticks out in my mind? And I thought of one that's pretty damn funny, actually, all things considered. So when I was a freshman in college, I was kind of a madman. I didn't take school very seriously. I did, however, take college very seriously. You know what I mean? Like, I had watched Animal House too many times, and we were all about partying, and trying to do things that were kind of epic and cool. But as far as getting good grades or whatever. But I was in my room, and my room was on the third floor of not a dorm room, but of an office, right? All of the offices were there, and they took the third floor and turned it into dorms. And they did because it was where the campus put all of the people who got caught for drinking or drugs. So anybody that had a drug or alcohol charge all got moved to the exact same place, which, if you think about it, oh, I just got a very funny email. So it's on the third. They take everybody and put them all together, and it's a bad idea. But I'm in the room with a friend of mine named Vinny, and a third friend of ours came in. We'll call him Wax for the sake of this talk. It's close enough to his real name. We'll just call him Wax. But Wax comes in and he says, "Listen, I need your help." And I said, "Who are you talking to?" He said, "Both of you." So it ends up that he wants the help of not only myself and my roommate, but a third roommate that we had, and then two other people, right? So we got a whole buttload of people for this mission. And because we're the alcohol abuse dorm, when you leave to go into our third floor, you got to sign in with somebody at the gate, right? So you sign in or you sign out. There's only one way in or out. There was a way of keeping track on what all the bad kids were doing, right? So Wax comes in and says, "I want to steal a police car." Right? How's that for an icebreaker? I want to steal a police car. And my first response was, well, that's a bad idea. You know what I mean? There's no chance you get away with stealing a police car, right? It's not going to happen. You're going to get caught. And I said, "And how would you do it?" I'm in my mind, I'm picturing, like the movies where the cop's got his car parked right there, and you just he goes into 7-Eleven and you jump in the car. I said, what's your plan, Wax?" Well, there was a used car lot in the town that we went to college in. And they sold a ton of used cars, and they were parked all on this lawn. It was like a long, huge, sweeping hill. There must have been 60, 70 cars out there, all parked in the grass. And then there was a section down by the barn that apparently all of these cars were there to be repaired. And they had a police car that was at the used car lot in order to get this thing worked on. So he has been planning this thing out for a really long period of time. Like he's got notebooks and diagrams and pretty crazy stuff. And as we went through this checklist of why this is a really stupid idea, like one right after the other, he really had thought it out. You know, like the first one was, we got to sign in, right? We got to sign in and out. So when something like this happens, if they start looking for students, the first thing they're going to do is say, you know, go there, look at the losers from the third floor and see if any of those guys were not supposed to be where they were. So he says, well, we're not going to go out that way. We're going to go out the window. We're going to go out the window and we're going to scale down. Now we are on the third floor, but about 10 to 15 feet below us is a roof. So we just needed to drop to that and then over to the side. One thing after another, he's got the entire stupid thing planned out. Yeah, whole thing. So we agree. And I put on the black turtleneck. I've got the little, skull cap. And yeah, apparently I got the skull cap on. And me and this crew of miscreants go out the window, right? Before we do, though, in the room, one of the group who is just the videographer, and I'm talking about the big, huge numbers that you used to have to put on your shoulder. But we had the videographer, and he was, breaking down. He was narrating in case this cassette was ever found years later and they couldn't figure out what the crime was. This dude was going to let you know. He broke down everybody that was in the video. Like hindsight being 2020, it had to be the dumbest thing anyone ever did. But he broke down who was in the video, what we were getting ready to go do, where that car was, how we intended to get it. He went through the whole blueprint on tape. Then he filmed us going out the window. And we climbed down and got into my friend's. My friend had a Dodge Polara. I don't know if you are familiar with the Dodge Polara. This is it's one of the largest automobiles that was ever made. Like for real, from bumper to bumper. The Polara was one of the largest cars ever built. This thing was, it looked like a mobile home, but 4 doors, big, huge, disgusting gold car. But boy, it got you where you wanted to go. Anyway, so down, we pull up to this car lot, and we all bail out of the back seat and the front seat. And our boy gets out and starts the filming process. And the driver peels off, gone. And we go sneaking down to the car lot. And sure as hell, exactly like Wax said, he said, when you get inside the car, you drop down the visor, keys are going to be in it. Now, how he knew that, I don't know. But the keys were absolutely where he said they would be. And I was not the driver. I did get to drive this police car, but I was not the driver that took it out of the lot because I was the bigger of the guys. Me and another dude were to push this thing to get a good enough running start to get it the hell away from anything before we had to turn it on, right? Make all of that noise. So it was a Dodge Diplomat. See, in your head, you're probably thinking Crown Victoria, right? Crown Vics. That's a police cruiser. Well, this was a long time ago. And this was the Dodge Diplomat. Dodge Diplomat. Good looking car. Flat as hell on the front end. It looked like all of the cars that they wrecked in the movie The Blues Brothers. That's pretty much what it looked like. But it was a black and white. White on the top, black on the bottom. First initial plan was get to a dirt road, get the lights off the top of this car, bust out with the cans of spray paint that Wax had. Everybody took a can, and we began to spray the white part of the car black. That would be the roof part. So we had the lights in the back seat, and we put the lights in the back seat of the police car, and spray painted the top all black, and then myself and JJ got into the police car. I was the passenger, and JJ drove, and the other guys were in the Polara filming as we were driving. And suffice to say, we did not drive very well. The first thing he did was take out probably about 150 yards of white picket fence. We just went and stop signs and mailboxes and anything that kind of got in the way of this Dodge Diplomat got run over. And we're fishtailing the thing everywhere. And you know, you'd run over a mailbox or something, or maybe 2 or 3 of them in a row, you know, like at the bottom of the hill. And you just hear it racking on the bottom of the car. And we thought, it's just a matter of time, right? This thing's got to crap out. We switched on and off a few times. I did a little driving. And then we rendezvoused down a dirt road very near the campus where we all agreed we were going to dump this car. And there was a place, and if I say the name of it, it really will put me out there, but there is a place on this campus, right? And it has a very, very cool part in the river. And there's a rock that resembles an animal, right, in this river. And the spot is named after the animal that this rock looks like. And we would go out there all the time. The idea was we were going to dump this car basically between the 2 rocks, almost dam this thing up, right? Again, pretty stupid kids, no brain whatsoever. But that's the plan. So we go down there, and JJ gets the car, and he puts a big rock on the accelerator, like you see in the movies, and the engine just starts racing, and then he reaches in and he pops that thing into drive, and the car takes off like a jet, right? And doesn't do anything even remotely close to what we thought it would do. There was this sort of little swale that it had to get a little swale that it had to get through before it was going to take kind of the big dip. So the big dip never happened. And when the car finally started to, it slid this way. To make a long story short, this thing got jammed so that not only did we not really wreck it, but we couldn't really move it, right? Kind of a bad situation. And we just decided that we'll abandon the car here, right? We got nothing to worry about. It's not like, we all wore gloves. So we're just going to leave the car there. You know, we jump in the car, we all go back to campus, and it's about 4:00 in the morning at this point. We've got the entire night on video, right? So we climb back up, we get back into the dorm, right? Into my room, because that's the one that had the ropes. Get back into my room, and we all start to take stuff off. And we're standing there, and we're marveling at what a fantastic job we did, and just how slick we are. And one of my roommates, an Italian guy, and I threw that out because my brother will know who I'm talking about, but our Italian roommate goes like this. How'd you guys get all the black paint off your hands? He's like, it's everywhere. How do you get the black paint off your hands? And we just looked at him and went, you didn't wear gloves? And he's like, no. You know, I was supposed to put gloves on. I'm like, where the hell did the black paint come from? He's like, well, when I was spray paint, I kind of got my hands. I'm like, dude, you fingerprinted yourself into paint. Like, this is going to be, they're going to catch you before the end of the day. Back down the rope, right, to the Polara. And the plan is we're just going to go get some gasoline. Then we're going to drive back out here. We're going to douse the car in gasoline. We're going to set that thing on fire. And we're going to get back up and into the dorm before the first batch of professors start rolling up, secretaries in the morning. They could be there at, 7:30. So we're running out of time. And we went to school in the sticks, right, in Hickville. So we go down to the gas stations, and all of them are closed. All of them. Every gas station, the entire town, closed, like not open. So we're holding up the hoses and trying to like milk as much of this, gas out of this thing as we possibly could. It was a terrible, terrible scene. And trying to find enough stuff enough liquid to get this car ablaze. But we poured it all over the inside of the car. And JJ went in and tossed a Zippo lighter, and this thing, it went, and the flame came back out the door, but it lit. And we stayed just long enough to make sure that it was actually going to burn. By the way, we took a big gym sock that we soaked in alcohol and shoved as deep into the gas tank thing as we possibly could. And we're waiting down the road like this. You know what I mean? We're waiting for the huge boom because we've watched every single movie at that point, that had ever been made up until 1986. So we knew damn well this thing was going to explode, right? Car parts were going to fly everywhere, but it didn't happen like that at all. It did make a noise that went woof about 4 times. That was the extent of the Big Bang. So we run back to campus. We go smoking back up the rope, right? We're pulling the rope up and cars are starting to come up the hill. And so we're all in there and we're not going to talk about this. You don't tell anybody about what happens. Agreed? Everybody's like, promise. No chance. We tell nobody, because if we tell somebody, we're going to get caught. Perfect. Second thing, I don't care how tempted you are. You do not return to the scene of the crime. No matter how bad you want to see what this car looks like, you don't do it. Are we in agreement? Yeah, we're in agreement. So I go to class, pull a few bong hits first. Then I go to class. And when I come back from class, I've got this thing that looks like a snow globe, and it's on my desk, but there's nothing white in it, right? Like where the snow ought to be, it's black and kind of, I don't know, it's foul looking, but it kind of looks like a piece of art. What it was this little place in the rock where the water had kind of washed out a little bowl in the rock. Well, apparently the windshield or the side window or whatever ended up melting and getting down into that little spot. I know what you're thinking. Well, then how did it get on your desk? So I walk out of my room and I'm already starting to get salty, right? I'm pissed. And when I go down to the lounge, which is where there's like the community TV, there's like 15 people in there, including the girl I was dating at the time. I guess we were dating. We lived together. But so the girl that I was with at the time is also in there, and she's watching TV. I walked in and I go, hey, what's going on? What's going on? They're like, shh, it's about to come on. Shh. I was like, what? Shh. So here it comes. And it's Channel 4, right? The local news affiliate. And they've got their reporter out there with the microphone, right? Standing right where we dumped this car. And I'm like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Like they're not just talking about it. Like they're down there filming, right? And standing behind this woman in the shot is the idiot who had the black paint on his hands, the one that we had to go back because of, my Italian friend, JJ, right? The guy that lit the car up. Wax, the guy whose entire idea this was. The three of them are standing directly behind this reporter in the, within the camera range, right on camera, and doing the Tommy Boy thing. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the cool 1980s. Check it out. What's up? Right? Unbelievable. Go Cats. Hideous. And I looked around. I just went, what the hell were you thinking? You went back out there, and when the news crew showed up, you didn't leave? And they were like, well, at that point, we thought it would look like a bust. I'm like, well, 30 minutes before you left, I said, whatever you do, don't go back to the scene of the crime. Amazingly, we didn't get caught. The Diplomat from Dodge Diplomat, right? They had peeled that off of the car when we first dumped it. A bunch of stuff we ripped off from the car when we first dumped it, like the little hood ornament, emblem, stuff like that. I also took a ticket book out of the glove box. I took a ticket book out of the glove box, which was one of the all-time great. Yeah, no question. That's actually a really smart idea. Somebody just. I got a text from Moscova that said, if I didn't watch you come out, I swear to God, I wouldn't think you were mine. So apparently she's watching tonight. But all of this stuff got peeled off the car. So we've got evidence all over the room, including the little glass, molded thing. And in spite of that, and in spite of there being a video cassette of what happened, Somehow we never got caught. And within, no joke, within 4 days, these guys were watching the videotape of us stealing this car. And they were watching it in the lounge, probably 3 nights a week, right? In there drinking and watching, and, you know, everybody squealing and howling when the car would run over a stop sign or, you know, do something else stupid. Everybody would start laughing. But that was one of those early things that somehow, you know, just you talk about luck or grace of God or whatever, but how that one, you know, we didn't get caught for that is just an absolute miracle, really a miracle, especially with, you know, the rookie. We weren't particularly slick criminals, so to speak. All right, listen, if any of you have a question, right, write the word question before what you write. And you might want to do it in caps. Nobody here is going to think you're yelling at them. And if you're on the Lifeboat and you're triggered by capital letters, then you should hit yourself in the head with a tack hammer, because damn, you know. But if you put question before you write out the question, there's an excellent chance that I will see that and answer that. If you have a question that you're going to die if you don't get me to answer this question, like it's the end of the, you know, your universe, then tag 99 cents to it or whatever and put it up as a super chat, because those don't usually those are a lot more difficult to slide by, so to speak, right? Yankee Kyle says, "Good evening, Mama Scoville." Yeah, I'll get lectured later, you know, to be sure. No, you know what? These are all stupid things that I did before, you know. If she's on, I should just keep going. I really should, because you know, there are some other really good ones that you know, from right around that time frame. I know my brothers told the story on Chase the Heat. Question: will you dare to wear white shoes after Labor Day? I heard it's verboten. It's not just shoes, full of hope. It's white, period, right? So, you know, you might see someone in tennis shoes. That's not such a big deal. But you don't see anybody wearing like white pants or, you know, that's off, right? That's and no, I wouldn't have the guts to do that. Yankee Kyle, congratulations, my friend. Man has been drug-free and sober for almost 3.5 decades, right? Man's been sober about as long as I was staying high. That's pretty damned impressive, Kyle. It really is. Really is. And you should be proud as hell of yourself. Question, Captain. When are we going to see the photo of you and Motley Crue and the story behind this? I got to dig that one out. I'll tell you the story right now. I'll tell you the story. I really will. But I'm going to have to try to find this and dig this out. I'm sure I'm probably getting, these are text messages, right, from friends of mine that are going, dude, don't tell that story. You know what I mean? Yes, there's no statutes of limitations with Mama Scoville either, so that's all bad. But yeah, bad form. You don't want to be wearing white after Labor Day. You're crazy. The bane of my teenage life was a nosy neighbor with a police scanner, good Lord, that would update my mother before I got in on weekends. Bach buddy, I had the exact same thing. We called her Hawkeye, but she wasn't a next door neighbor. She was just my mom's best friend, and she was vicious with it. Vicious. If I was in Bangladesh or if I was in, Iraq doing something, she would pop up in the same store. What are you doing here? And then she would go tell my mom. I may be Alaskan now, but me was from North Carolina, and I could use a good seersucker suit. Is that okay after Labor Day? Well, yes. Yeah, seersucker? No, I think seersucker's always good, isn't it? I dig seersucker. I really do. I got a great pair of polo seersucker pants that are pretty damn cool. You don't get to wear them much, but The Heroin Diaries is a great book. I have read it. It is a really, really, really good book. So here's the story. All right. Here's the story with with Motley Crue. It was the 90s, and my brother and I were living in Texas, and I recently had made the acquaintance of a gentleman that sold Bolivian marching powder, right, and lots of it, and we had begun to pick that stuff up in the 2.2 size bricks, right, and we were selling them by FedExing them to different places, usually somewhere in the Northeast, Boston a lot. We were FedExing it there, but we got to be pretty good friends with this dude along the way. And one day he says to me, "Hey, are you a Motley Crue fan?" And I said, "Yeah, to be honest, not really." And at that point in my life, I really wasn't. Yeah, Diana, I'll tell you that story later too. But yeah, I did. Not bumped into him, but I saw him places. I want to make the Lifeboat my beneficiary. Well, that sounds almost frightening. Yeah, they had a house on a place called Lake Sunapee, and my friend and I used to take a laser sailboat out there, sailing all the time, and you could see them out on the deck in the 80s. They used to hang out there all the time. But so I'm mailing this stuff. We're building up a good relationship. He invites me to see the Crew. They're going to be putting on a show at the Astrodome. And he says to me, when these guys come to town, they call me, meaning for blow. And I said, you know what, you want me to go and deliver it or what? And he goes, oh, no. He goes, I know him personally. He's like, well, just, he goes, but thought you might like to see him. And I'm like, yeah, again, I'm not a huge fan. He's like, come along. He's like, it'll make you laugh. And it did. We went, and the first time they came by, I'm not kidding you. The first time they came by, they bought 4 zips, right? So they picked up a QP of this stuff. And that's a lot. That is a lot of that stuff, right? Just a ton. There's 28 G's in a zip, right? So you got 56 and 2, 112. It's just a lot of blow. And about 3.5 to 4 hours after he sold it to him, now they had not even gone on stage yet. They called and said, "Can we get another one?" And these aren't people buying picking up a teener and then calling and going, "Hey, you got another one of those?" And when they did, my friend, his initials were MF, believe it or not, we'll call him MF. But he says to them, "Hey, listen, if you're going to want another one later, get it now, because I'm not going to stay up all night long so that I can take care of you guys. So if you want another one, this is your last chance, right? Buy it now." And they do the, no, we're good. One more is fine. That'll do it. And they buy it. And then the concert goes on, and after the concert, we went backstage, took a couple of pictures. It was kind of cool. Those aren't the pictures I'm talking about, but we went backstage and took a couple of pictures. And then the phone rings. Now, this guy that I'm with, he doesn't do this drug, right? And he doesn't do any drug. And he's a drinker, but he does not do drugs. Doesn't much respect people that do, right? So I'm sneaking it in the bathroom because I don't want him to know what's going on. But the phone rings, right? And we're staying at the Hilton downtown, and the phone rings, and he goes, you know who this is going to be, right? And he picks up the hotel phone, and of course it's the same Crew, and the same question. Hey, can we get another one of those? Can you come and drop one off? And he says to him, no. We talked about this. I told you, man, get 2 of them right now, because I'm not going to do this, another time. I'm not going to do it. And they make a deal for a lot more money, and they got to come to the hotel to pick it up. And MF says to me, he goes, look, we'll when they get here, he's like, I'll get a picture of them. He goes, because they're going to look awful. He said, I guarantee you, wait until you see. He goes, they've gone through already, half a pound. That's legendary stuff. You know what I mean? That's rock star stuff right there. And yeah, they came, and Heather Locklear was part of that trip as well. The whole crew was there, and they looked like they had been smoking rock for 3 or 4 days. I mean, I got to assume they were cooking it up, because that was really the look. It wasn't the I've been snorting, and it was the there might be one more rock on the rug, like they might have been doing the carpet safari for the previous 45 minutes before they broke down and decided to call us. The age old question. That's funny. The age old question. Can I get another? That is a crazy amount of blow for one night. Yeah, it really is. Right, 3/4 of a pound. Right, that is a monumental amount of blow. But when they showed up, he said, "Hey, let me get a picture of you real quick." Right, and he's like, "Tommy, go over there and get a picture." And they're like, "You know what, man? We don't. We really don't want to do any pictures." And my boy was like, "Yeah, I really didn't want to get up and sell you this either. I'd like to be sound asleep." He's like, "Now go over there and get in the picture." And I walked over, and these people were not happy, right? So I'm standing there, and I just got this huge, right, crap-eating grin on my face, and there's the entire crew standing there, less than amused. So that was that story. And what was really funny was that picture, made the rounds, because when I first got it, I was showing it to everybody. Tommy, question: have you seen the movie 4 Good Days? I have not. I've not even heard of that movie. Tim, you've never heard the reference for the carpet safari? Huh? Where you go hunting in the carpet? Sure, you know what I'm talking about. I always thought it was funny when you could just even hint about it. You know what I mean? You'd be on the way out the door, and your friend who's been smoking the stuff for 3 days and driving you nuts, and you keep saying, "Look, man, just put the stuff down, go to bed." No, I'm just going to do one more. I promise you, just one more. 3 days later, they're still up. So on the way out the door, you want to go, "Hey, listen, you might don't step right near the bathroom. You might want to look there, because I just dropped a small bag and the stuff fell out. So there's probably 1/4 gram of rock over there." Walk out the door just knowing full well that poor guy is going to spend the entire night trying to find that. Or worse, we had a friend that had he was on some Section 8 housing, and the ceiling was so low that you could put your hands on it, and it had that popcorn textured stuff. And we got into an argument one night while he was smoking crack, and we were cursing at each other and everything else. When I went to walk out of the room, I just put my hand on the ceiling and just hit all of those, that whole textured popcorn thing on the way out the door. And, we made up and were friends later. And he said to me, "Man, if you knew how much of that stuff I smoked." Let me see here. He says, "Ever much enjoyed the story, Captain. Legendary. It's amazing who you meet in this world when it comes to drugs, etc." Yeah, no, for real. Drugs are definitely kind of, they level the playing field. You know what I mean? Like, you can watch people that are, people who are really famous, and people that, like, if you read any of the stories, and there's probably a few people on the boat that could tell you stories, right, that were around then. But when Studio 54 was open in New York, Mick Jagger might have a tough time getting in the door on a Friday night, but the dope dealers didn't. You know what I mean? Like, they really made stars wait outside sometimes. Like, they were vicious with who they let in and who they didn't. But they let in the drug dealers, and everybody, like, they were famous in that club. They made those people into stars, which is just bizarre to me. Absolutely bizarre to me. Let's see here. Question: will you budgie smugglers on vacation? Will I budgie smugglers? Look, I'm not, I'm as open-minded as the next guy. I'm as open-minded as the next guy. I might budgie a little smuggle. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea what that is, but it's funny. It sounds funny. No way. It is ZW's birthday. Happy birthday, Zenwin. Wow, that is so awesome. Really good to hear that. ZW. ZW's been with us a really long time now. And I can't remember a time when you weren't here. I do remember actually when you came, but I don't remember. Yeah, it always gets that way when people really kind of fit in on the boat. See, the lifeboat. But see, she knows what budgie smuggling is. Apparently, I don't. I've probably embarrassed myself massively by saying I might do it. But will you wear? Oh, it's a teeny weeny, like a banana hammock. Is that what you're talking about? Like yeah, the. I can't see me putting that on, to be honest with you. No, I'm more of a like the clam diggers that go about an inch below your knee. The number for birthday wishes. It's a really interesting question. It's odd that we don't have a birthday. Captain Stu and Q is asking about the Star Trek top. Okay, so the story with the Star Trek top is a funny story. This is what happened. We have a mod on the boat that was a huge part of the boat, especially in the very early days, and helped lay out the boat, structure it, and work behind the scenes. And she just was really instrumental in the early days of the boat. And it was a long-running joke that she is madly in love with Kirk, right? That was her first high school crush. Everything else, she's just always been madly in love with William Shatner. So I was doing a watch auction, and I was in an auction where they were selling memorabilia, and there were some famous people's watches there, which is why I was there. And that came up. And I sent a picture of it to her. And I said, how bad would you want that? And she just said, oh, my Lord, can you imagine? So I bid on it. And when I got it, yeah, Linda. So when I bid on it, I called her and I sent the picture of it. And I said, this is yours, right? Come get it. I'm not packaging this thing up and sending it across the world. So it will hang on that wall until Linda comes and knocks on the door and asks for it, in which case I will be happy to hand that off to Linda, because it is officially hers. I bought that for her. But I do dig it. I mean, I absolutely love it. And it is signed by William Shatner, and it's part of a series of shirts that he did. Apparently, I don't know whether I can't remember if they said it was 6 of them or 9 of them, but they were shirts that had been worn at one time or another. So, yeah. So for all we know, he blasted Klingons in that. What's the link for a better time? I don't know how I would do that, fellow. I'll figure it out and I'll put it up in the Dropbox, because I'll get a link for that and I'll put it in the Dropbox. My twin boy's birthday is on what? September 8th. Mind Games, it's good to see you. Yeah, it is a cool shirt story, to be sure. It's I liked him better in Wild Wild West. There you go. Yeah, there you go. My dad and his brothers were all really big fans of Star Trek, and I mean like from Jump Street. Like in the 60s, they were already, because it kind of really gained in popularity. Not instantly, but further down the road. You know what I'm saying? And they were already in love with it. You think you and me have a birthday on the same day, Wharton? That would put you on the same day as Tom Cruise. So that would be interesting. Wharton, you were born in early July. Is that correct? If you were born in really early July, that could be the case. September 5th is Wharton's. Oh, you must mean Tommy Bird. I hate Tom Cruise, Lummy says. Who doesn't hate Tom Cruise? Honestly, who doesn't? He's so difficult to like. He really is. From the meltdowns, jumping up and down on the couch and talking about how much he loved that woman that they had auditioned to be his wife. What a bunch of whack jobs! Holy crap! We think we're weird. Woo! You got to be kidding me. ZW stepped away for a few minutes. Well, that's legit. It's your birthday. Don't pull that crap tomorrow, but you're good today. Kidding. But seriously, don't walk away again. Oh, I'm lost in chat. So fast, it's full of hope. It is, I know. It is. 11:15:66. Lost all his wives and can't get a girlfriend with millions. Here's the deal. He couldn't even get a wife. Like they honestly go out and audition people. They lie to them and tell them they're being auditioned for a movie. And they go in and read for parts and do screen tests and all of that stuff. Absolutely bizarre. Yeah, Virginia says, Heather, I hope you feel better soon. I'm not going to lie to you. She looks tough. She looks like it hurt. Kathy says, how do prison romances work? Well, they come in a couple of different flavors. There is the prison romance where an inmate falls in love or a staff member falls in love with an inmate. And this happens a lot more often than you would think. When you take people and, you lock somebody up 8 hours a day, it's usually not someone that's watching a unit. But if you get a job and you're working in the kitchen and you're you're an assistant to the secretary, or an assistant to the director, and you act like a secretary, and, you're in the office with somebody of the opposite sex for 6 or 7 hours a day, and you get to know these people, and, weird things happen. That's probably the first way that it happens, right? That's the first way. The second way that it happens is when two gentlemen decide to get together. So residents at the prisons, now at the top levels of security, they don't allow that on the yard. Like, they're not letting that go on. If it happens, they will get rid of both parties. Now, doesn't mean it's not happening undercover, because it is, right? And that goes on. But when you get to lower custody level, you've got guys walking around that are looking remarkably like women, who are dressing like them and all of that jazz. And they tend to to have boyfriends and walk around with them. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time at that custody level, but the last place I was at had them, and it was very, very odd. It was very odd. And then the final way, right? The more normal and final way is the prison romance, where a guy on the inside has somebody on the outside, and the two of them write to each other and talk to each other, and he or she goes to visit the inmate as often as can be done, and relationships get built. And if you walk into any prison at any given time and you line all of the guys up, there's probably 20 or 30% of the guys in there are writing to a pen pal that tells them that they love each other and this and that, and they've never met in real life. It's a constant. It is a constant. And there are sites for people that are literally trying to find, like writeinmate.com, right? Or inmatepenpal.com. There's a bunch of different ones. And inmates will pay money and write up their own little description. And if they can get a picture, they send a picture in. And you start getting letters from all over the world, right? All over the world. You'll get, people who write you, and they're from, Czechoslovakia or whatever. I have a prison romance story. My friend's husband got 25 years. he died, she kept going every week to see his cellmate. They got married when he got out. 10 years now. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. That really is. That's crazy. And I bet you that story gets played out often, believe it or not. I would always have people that would say to me, tell your wife I said hello, because I'd be writing to her every day, and I'd be like, no, you're not gonna have any communication with my wife. Keep that a little off. Okay. When the fishermen go away, the fishing ladies go out hunting. Are there sheep in prison? Oh yeah, sheeple. Soulmate equals cellmate. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. I could tell you a series of just the absolute worst jokes, and every single guy in the world knows them, right? If you've been to prison, you know these. These are like standard prison jokes about, cellmates and, all of it's just, I'm so happy I'm out of that life, people. I am so happy I'm out of that life. I get people that write to me, and in the first 2 sentences, if the person that's writing to you has done time, it's it's a different language and it's a different mindset, and I'm just so glad I'm out of it. I really am. And I've already made some some friends here on the boat with people that did time and are out and are doing fantastic. I'm dizzy and I feel like I want to puke. Holding my head underwater until the bubbles stop should cure it. Yeah. That'll cure everything. It does have that added effect of stopping your ticker, which I'm not a doctor, but when you stop breathing altogether and your heart no longer pumps, I have a feeling that's going to disagree with one sooner or later. So it's just an opinion. There are class clowns in prison, believe it or not. There are. Every unit's got a guy that is that guy. He's the court jester. And more often than not, someone's going to get the crap kicked out of them when they take on that position. They don't usually last very long. Pulled up the Lifeboat on the big screen. A cemetery. Are you being serious, my friend, or was that you being you? If not, you know how to get a hold of me, and you know how to get a hold of a lot of other people. Sorry, people. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. All right, people. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. We're close enough to the top of the hour. All right. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Some things I got to do now. Talk to you later. Love you.